Tuesday afternoon. You finished in 4 hours. Used to take 8. Manager walked over. Saw you free. Great. Can you handle Mike's workload too? Mike started same time as you. Still going. You got faster. System gave you his work. Same pay, double output. Mike's protected. You're punished. That's late-stage efficiency trap. The prognosis isn't good. You're exhibiting symptoms of a specific workplace pathology. Happens to high performers. Happens quietly. Takes years to notice. By the time you recognize what's happening, you're already deep in it. Workload doubled. Compensation flat. Exit options limited because you're too valuable to lose from current position. Medical term for this, optimization-induced immobility. Common term, getting screwed for being good. But here's what matters, understanding how you got here. Because the trap doesn't spring all at once. Symptom 1 appeared 3 months ago. You improved a process. Monthly report that took 8 hours. Found a better method. Got it down to 4. Felt brilliant. Told your manager. Thought it demonstrated initiative. Your manager agreed. Called it excellent. Next month, your workload changed. 2 reports instead of 1. Yours plus Sarah's. Since you're so efficient now, figured you could handle both. You accepted. Couldn't refuse without admitting the efficiency gain was false. That moment right there. That's when the pathology took hold. You proved increased capacity. System registered it. Adjusted your baseline. Permanently. Sarah's still doing 1 report. Takes her 8 hours. Gets same performance rating as you. Same raise percentage. Because expectations aren't measured by speed. They're measured by role definition. Your role didn't change. Your output doubled. Your compensation didn't. First symptom, accepting workload expansion without compensation negotiation. Watch the pattern. Friday late afternoon. You're finishing task 3. Colleagues still on task 1. Same assignment. Same morning start time. You think they're slow. Wrong diagnosis. They're pacing. Deliberately. They understand something you don't yet. Finishing early signals availability. Availability attracts more work. More work without more pay is exploitation. So they don't finish early. They finish on time. Precisely on time. Every time. Not laziness, strategy. Boundary protection. They manage effort like it's a limited resource. You're maximizing output like it's unlimited. They leave at 5. You leave at 7. Sometimes 8. Covering overflow. Same job title, same salary band. Vastly different quality of life. System didn't reward your speed. It weaponized it. Made you the overflow valve. Second symptom. Believing speed earns freedom when it actually earns availability. There's a meeting you should know about. Happened 2 months back. Budget review. You weren't invited. Your manager presented team analysis. Reached your name. This one can handle significantly more. High efficiency, low maintenance. Rarely pushes back. 3 descriptors. In that room, those weren't compliments. Those were utilization metrics. High efficiency means you have spare capacity to absorb more input. Low maintenance means you don't require support or protection. You're safe to overload. Rarely pushes back means you accept additional work without negotiating. That meeting determined your next year. You weren't there to know it happened. 2 weeks later, new responsibilities appeared. Not new title, not new pay, just new tasks. Because the meeting concluded you could handle it. Third symptom. Being absent from rooms where your capacity is discussed and allocated. Stop here for a second. Think about the last month. How many decisions about your workload were made without you in the room? How many times did you find out what you're responsible for after it was already decided? That's not an accident. That's the system working exactly as designed. Now back to the diagnosis. Consider what you sacrificed to achieve this speed. Lunch became something you did at your desk between emails. Conversations with colleagues turned into quick status updates in hallways. Those cross-functional meetings where relationships actually form, you skipped them. Couldn't afford the time away from real work, professional development sessions? Postponed indefinitely because there's always something more urgent that needs your immediate attention. You got lean. Cut everything non-essential. Optimized for pure productivity. But while you were optimizing output, someone else was in those meetings, those lunch conversations, those development sessions, building visibility, creating relationships, establishing strategic presence. Promotion cycle came. Your speed wasn't a factor. Their presence was. Person who attended those meetings got moved up. Person who took lunch with the right people got noticed. You got labeled high performer in current role. Different labels. Different trajectories. You optimized for productivity. They optimized for positioning. Positioning wins promotions. 18 months in this role now. Same title. Same desk. Same business cards. Workload tripled. You're covering what used to split across 3 people. Finally raised it. Asked about promotion timeline. Got the answer. We need to see more strategic leadership capability. Confused you. You are leading, carrying the team's workload, preventing disasters daily. But that's not their definition of leadership. Leadership means managing people who do work, not doing work faster than everyone. Your speed demonstrates execution mastery, not leadership readiness. They see someone excellent at current level. Too excellent to risk moving. Moving you creates operational gap. Gap requires backfill. Backfill requires training. Easier to keep you exactly where you are. 4th symptom. Excellence at current level preventing advancement to next level. Watch this mechanism. Every time you finish something ahead of schedule, expectations silently recalibrate. That 8-hour estimate was apparently padded. Work actually takes 4 hours. So 4 hours becomes your expected timeline. Just yours. Next project arrives. Scoped for 4 hours based on your demonstrated capability. You're now operating on a 4-hour standard while colleagues operate on 8-hour standard. Can't revert without looking like you were sandbagging. You raised your own bar. Bar didn't come with compensation raise. Came with more work at the same rate. This compounds monthly. Each efficiency gain becomes new minimum. Never resets downward, only ratchets upward. 6 months of improvements. 6 new minimums. Workload doubled. Pay unchanged. Study who got promoted last quarter. They didn't finish projects in half the time. Didn't volunteer for extra assignments. Didn't work weekends. Did something different, protected their time like it was scarce and valuable, said no to unreasonable requests, actually used the word, escalated when overextended, current workload exceeds capacity, need guidance on prioritization, made clear that expanded responsibility required expanded compensation. You didn't. You accepted. You absorbed. They set boundaries and defended them. You set precedent and reinforced it. Boundaries protect careers. Precedent traps them. And precedent, once established, becomes what you're measured against. Monday morning meeting. Manager reviewing team status. Mentions you specifically. Want to acknowledge they've been handling overflow exceptionally well. Really appreciate the flexibility. People nod. Feels like recognition. What you're missing. That statement just made overflow handling your official job description. Not temporary. Permanent expectation. You proved capability. In public. With witnesses. Now if you push back later, you're not being flexible anymore. Recognition was actually redefinition. Of your role. Of your baseline. 5th symptom. Allowing public acknowledgement of overwork to reframe it as normal work. They have internal terminology for your category. High-capacity resource. Sounds professional. Sounds like they value your ability. It's not a compliment. It's a classification code. High-capacity resources get high input loads. Standard capacity resources get normal loads. Low-capacity resources get protected loads. You're not valued more than others. You're consumed more than others. Value and utilization aren't the same thing. Gasoline is utilized. Gold is valued. Gasoline is consumed rapidly because it's efficient. Gold is preserved because it's rare. Your gasoline, efficient, productive, readily consumed. The actual goal isn't work faster. Real goal, work at the pace that maximizes your negotiating leverage. Leverage comes from gap between what you deliver and what's expected. Deliver exactly what's expected. Zero leverage. Deliver moderately above. Positive leverage. Deliver massively above. Expectations recalibrate to match. Gap disappears. Zero leverage again. You close the gap between performance and expectations. That eliminated your negotiating power. Smart performers maintain strategic gap, consistently deliver above expectations, but never so far above that expectations adjust. You delivered 200%. Expectations recalibrated to 200%. No gap means no leverage. No leverage means no negotiating position. 22 months in this position. Same title. Same salary grade. Workload genuinely tripled. Used to split across 3 people. Mentioned this to manager. Needed acknowledgement. Got sympathetic expression. I'm aware you're stretched. Working on getting you help. Months pass. No hire. No update. Because they're not actually working on it intensively. You're covering it successfully. You're demonstrating 3 positions can consolidate to 1. You're not temporarily covering a gap. You're permanently proving the gap doesn't need filling. Every week you successfully manage that workload. You provide evidence it's sustainable. Your competence became evidence against your own case for support. Calculate total cost. Not just hours. Everything. Energy deficit running constantly. You wake up tired now. Coffee intake doubled just to maintain baseline function. Sleep quality degraded because your mind won't shut off, still processing work problems at 2 in the morning. Relationship strain accumulating. You're missing dinners because you're still at your desk. Missing calls from people who matter because you're in back-to-back meetings. Missing presence even when you're physically there because your mental bandwidth is completely consumed. Creative thinking capacity gone entirely. No space for strategic planning. No room for innovation, just execution. Constant, relentless tactical execution. Weekend work became so normal you don't even question it anymore. Saturday mornings at your laptop. Sunday evenings just catching up before Monday. You keep telling yourself it's temporary. Things will stabilize. Workload will balance eventually. Things don't stabilize. They expand to fill available capacity. You're the pressure relief valve, system pressure builds. Roots to you? You handle it. System doesn't fix root cause. Why fix what's already handled? Relief valves don't get turned off. They get used until they fail. You're not building a career. You're building a dependency relationship. Dependencies don't get promoted. They get used until they break. Project forward 2 years. Nothing changes. Still producing at high speed. Still accepting everything. Someone else gets promoted. Objectively slower. Measurably less productive. You'll call it unfair. It is. They got promoted because losing them doesn't break operations. System can absorb their absence. Losing you stops everything. Multiple projects halt, so they can't promote you. Need you exactly where you are. Indefinitely. You became too operationally valuable. Too risky to move. That's terminal stage. Being so critical at current level that advancement becomes structurally impossible. Truth you need to hear. Efficiency isn't universally optimal. Context determines value. Sometimes going slower is strategically superior. Not because you lack capability, because you understand the system. Person finishing in 8 hours with solid delivery has identical job security to person finishing in 4 hours with excellent delivery. Same security, same ratings. But person taking 8 hours has protected boundaries, preserved leverage, life outside work. They're not less capable. They're better at managing the system instead of being managed by it. You optimized for the system's benefit. They optimized for their own sustainability. Run the counterfactual. Tomorrow you operate at 80% of current pace, not 50. 80%. What happens? Termination? Performance plan? Or did they realize you were operating at 200% before and 80% of that is still 160% of standard? You're not behind because you're doing something wrong. You're behind because you're doing everything the system taught you was right. Right in an extraction maximizing system means working yourself into a position where you can't leave, can't slow down, can't negotiate. Because you already established you'll do it. Proof became permission. Permission became precedent. Breaking precedent you set yourself is nearly impossible without appearing to regress. Clinical recommendation: stop optimizing for speed. Start optimizing for sustainability. Speed without boundary protection isn't career advancement. It's unpaid labor expansion. It's voluntary exploitation. System will continue extracting maximum output as long as you continue providing it. No natural stopping point. You have to stop giving more than you're compensated for. You have to establish boundaries. You have to protect your own leverage. Nobody else will do it for you. That's not their job. Their job is maximize output at minimum cost. Your job is protect your career trajectory and quality of life. Those jobs are in direct conflict. Efficiency without strategic boundary management is just optimized exploitation. And the system will keep rewarding your speed with more work until you realize that being fast at the wrong thing is the same as being slow at everything.